We're looking at talking about youth as a nation builders, and as we all know, that the Youth Force 2047, shaping a stronger, fairer, future-ready India is what we are looking at covering. As a moderator of this conversation, we have a seasoned HR professional with extensive experience in leadership development, talent acquisition, and employee engagement. She serves as a board member and a certified independent director, bringing strategic insight and governance expertise to organizations. Please join me in welcoming on stage Swati Dattya, the independent director of Suryodaya Small Finance Bank. And joining Swati, there are going to be 4 panelists on screen. So Swati, you're going to have a tough time maneuvering, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. And we have one panelist who's going to join us live right now. In person. Our first panelist on screen is Dr. Bharat Panchal, who is the Chief Risk and Regulatory Officer, APAC Middle East Global Payment Network, Capital One. Popularly known as the Risky Monk, leading expert in risk management and cybersecurity within India's payment ecosystem. He's also the original designer behind cybercrime.gov.in and the 1930 Cybercrime Helpline. We also have joining us online Praveen Rajbar, the founder and CEO of Skilling You, an edtech platform focused on empowering over 5 lakh rural youth through skill development and career opportunities. He's associated with AWS EdStart and has been recognized as a Startup Maharathi 2025. Also joining in online, we do have Shiv Singh, ED Indian Bank, as well as Dr. Lakshmi Mohan, Pro Vice Chancellor, ITM Skills University. Dr. Lakshmi is an experienced academic leader with strong background in higher education and management studies, while Shiv Singh, being the executive director at Indian Bank, of course, brings in his key expertise to the platform. And joining us in person right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Sanchit Taksalai, who's the director at Danik Edu Ventures. Being the founder of Danik with a strong focus of helping individuals build long-term wealth with clarity and discipline. He's also the author of the book, The Truth About Investing. I'm going to be recommending a good read of that book to all of us out here. So can I please have Sanchit to now join us in person on the stage? Can we request Sanchit? Is he around? All right, I believe currently we'll just get that relayed, Swati, but because we have the paucity of time, let's begin. And can we bring the panelists on the screen, whoever's available, to the tech team?
Morning, everyone. Given that most of my panelists are online, I'm going to stand here. I don't want to face my back to the panelists. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we are talking about 2047, 100 years of independent India. As we look ahead, the most important question before us is not just going to be about economic growth and technology, it is also going to be about people. And more specifically, about how we're going to prepare youth to become the nation builders of tomorrow. Jawaharlal Nehru had once said, the children of today will make the India of tomorrow. We have a rare demographic advantage. We are one of the youngest large nations of the world, and over the next 2 decades, by 2047, we will probably add another close to 200 million people into the working age population. While this gives us a longer window of demographic dividend, this force can become our greatest driver of productivity, innovation, and inclusive growth only if the youth are gainfully employed and skilled. And this advantage is not automatic. We will need to build it. So the opportunity before us is to create future-ready youth force. The force will just not use technology, it will work alongside technology. I remember days when computers got introduced when I got into working life. So things are really different for the next generations now. And this cannot be done by a single agency alone. We will need strong government involvement for policy and infrastructure. We will need industry-led ecosystems for skilling and employability. And of course, we will need entrepreneurship. And we need to confront the real challenges. There are gaps between education and jobs, unequal access to opportunities, rapid technological changes, and the need to create a culture of lifelong learning. So today's conversation is not just about jobs. It's about building capability, character, and confidence. It is said that the ignited mind of the youth is the most powerful resource. And it is our responsibility to ensure that this powerful resource is equipped, enabled, and empaneled if we have the dream for 2047. So now I'm going to turn to my online panel members. And thank you, Sanchit, for joining us here. Yes, I know we have most of them online. I believe Mr. Singh has to log off early because he needs to attend something else. So Mr. Shiv Singh, I'm going to ask you the first question. From where you sit, what is the single biggest risk to India's youth dividend if we don't act differently from now to 2047?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
What I see that youth, no doubt, we have got close to 65% of our population below 35 years of age, which is giving us a good dividend. But if you talk about opportunities as well as the challenges, rather you are putting the question to me on the downside. What is this downside? So to be precise, opportunities are there. We have to use this talent. And for that purpose, we have to basically do 2 or 3 things. Basic amenities, so far as are there for upbringing of the children, their education level, they still need to be improved. Until unless we improve that, I don't think this dividend can be converted into a gain for the nation as a whole. Secondly, we see that this youth, basically the employability is a question. We are educated, we are having degrees, but when we go to the industries, then the employability is a question. Therefore, question of skilling and reskilling, that is coming to the forefront at this level. And lastly, whatever we see, close to our 60-65% population is between rural and semi-urban areas, where good chunk of people are still disguisedly unemployed. It means there is potential for them to be gainfully employed. Until unless we take up all these 3 issues at ecosystem level, it will be very difficult for us to generate the dividend of demography. What is being said, and if we want to become a developed nation by 2047, we have to channelize all those things. So the 3 issues which I want to develop at this time: number 1, providing basic amenities in the form of education, healthcare, and nutrition. That is the first thing. Second is reskilling and skilling of our youth, which are still in the employment phase or are going to join the employment. And lastly, the ecosystem, what we have done. Yes, we have done a lot of things for startups, for MSMEs, for agriculture, but still a lot of things have to be done in the agriculture sector, where a majority of the population is employed, and the unorganized MSME sector that still needs a lot of interventions for making them fully employed or employable to harness their full potential. So these are the issues which we have to take up. Otherwise, what will happen? This population of 20-25 years of age, it will become as a more burden on the society in the form of older people who have to be provided higher amount of social security for even their survival because of our increasing life expectancy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. I think you beautifully brought out the fact that, educators, government, and industry all need to work hand in hand to help achieve our dreams for 2047. My next question is to Mr. Bharat. When you bring in fresh graduates into your organization, what skills do you struggle with the most in our fresh graduates?
Good morning. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I think very relevant question you asked. But the problem today, what we are facing in the AI or tech environment today. See, the fundamental question, what the industry at large is facing, that are we really getting really skilled people? The reason why I'm making this comment, because we are, with all due respect to the academia and all, we are producing engineers and graduates. We are not developing skill. So that is where the complete mismatch is happening, because our education system is not linked with what industry require, because we are still into the old era of the academia or the syllabus, which is not linked with the ground reality. That is one. The second one is when we ask in many questions during interviews, they have theoretical answer for sure, but are they capable to link to the practical scenario? Not. Why? Because we have not created an environment to link their academia with the actual industrial experience, where the student can go and actually test the skill what they gained during their academia on the ground reality. That is the point number 2. The point number 3 is, we have students, or we have, fresh graduates coming from, urban, metro, tier 2, tier 3, all this type of, locations. The problem is, the AI wave, what everybody is talking about AI for sure, but, when it comes to AI, urban students think that they are far closer or nearer to the AI, where the same thing comes to the tier 2 and tier 3, they feel they are left out. How to bridge that gap? Because ultimately, when we hire people, we take, the graduates for our, organization, we never differentiate between the geographical location from the guy is coming. It is all about the skill. I think that that's the biggest challenge. I'm sure that my fellow panelists also will agree with that, because our model are not sustainable in today's term, because when it comes to some reality, as I said, definitely they have very less exposure. But when it comes to a part of students, those who are coming from the non-metro environment, they don't have access to the great resources to skill themselves upward. They have very few mentors and network. Sometimes it is, coming as a language barrier also, which is also creating a problem. So, in net, my submission is that when it comes to a, skill or kind of what we are looking from these people, I think we need to shift. We need to do a paradigm shift in terms of skill development, like what Germany, like country has done. That they have a dual vocational model, so they send more on apprentice and on the job training during academia, and just not putting them in just one classroom, and suddenly they are asked to, okay, now you go and swim into the corporate world. I think that's where the main difference is coming.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bharat. Taking Mr. Bharat's point forward, Dr. Lakshmi, where do you see, being an educator yourself, where do you see the biggest breakdown? Is it between school and college? Is it from college to industry? Or is it from the job to be able to really deliver? And how, as educators, how do you think you can, what is your view on how training can become more relevant, because industry needs are changing almost every day? So how do we bring that balance? Would love to hear your views on it.
Yeah, thank you, Swati ji, and very good morning to all the panel members and delegates who are present here. I think, being from the university side, I can see a large gap that exists between industry and education. though we try to bridge the gap by bringing in industry advisory board, and we try and curate the curriculum to suit the industry needs. But I think not all educational institutions are going forward with this. And today, if you look at organizations, they are not just looking at a degree. And I keep telling this to my students also. They are looking at skills and and I think institutions today need to also look at how do they bridge that gap which exists between industry and academia. So the curriculum really needs a revamp. The pace at which industry is moving, I think it's super speed, God speed, and curriculum is not moving at the same speed, and that is a larger gap. So when like Bharatji mentioned, it's true that when there are certain expectations from industry about the kind of candidates who join them, but unfortunately I think educational institutions have not really reached up to the level where they understand the importance of skills. So I think skill building is most important, and which in today's times is more crucial, especially with the Viksit Bharat goals, 2047, which is envisioned by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and also the national education policy. So national education policy has given a lot of flexibility to educational institutions, but वो traditional mindset से निकलना चाहिए. So I think that traditional mindset is also a very big block for many educational institutions who are not able to think forward and look at how they can, bridge that gap between industry and academia. And what I see today is industry is forthcoming. Like, we have industry providing certifications to educational institutions. Like you have, for us we have Ernst & Young that gives an HR analytics certification for our HR students. We have a KPMG which gives a Lean Six Sigma certification for our supply chain and retail management students. So what I'm saying is, if industry is able to provide these skills and bring in those certifications to educational institutions at a reasonable cost, I think that will really work well, because beyond the degree, I think we need industry to participate and collaborate with educational institutions. Only then can we see a difference. Second thing is, you at least need to have an understanding of, how your concept is applied in the industry context, which we are not able to provide in the classroom. So for that, I think it's important that we include mandatory industry internships, or apprenticeships, which definitely today, as per national education policy, many of these organizations are given incentives for providing apprenticeship to students. So if this can also be encouraged, I think that breakdowns to some extent can be, brought down. Then there are a lot of live projects that students should be doing with industry. So live projects are, short 1 week wale projects, which at ITM we believe a lot in doing this kind of immersions, because we feel that experience with the industry can give you immense learning. So concept to application, I think that's where we need to move, and we need to, so we cannot in today's time test memory. And educational institutions should know that they cannot test memory, but they should test application. Can we all move to that, through continuous evaluation and providing that experiential learning for students? Many institutions are still traditional. They don't bring in the industry immersions. So industry immersions can again give you a lot of, learning. So I feel, very important is bring in these kind of changes, bring in more skills into learning, bring in industry into learning, and a lot of collaborations is what is going to enable us to, remove that breakdown, and also most important is upskilling of faculties, right? If faculties are still in that traditional mindset that chalega, hum already PhD kar chuke hain, we don't need to do anything more, I think we are not right. And education has to be a continuous learning even for faculty members, especially the way industry is changing. But there is very limited understanding of faculties about what industry is doing. In fact, at ITM, we also tried sending the faculties for internship. And yeah, unfortunately, I lost one or two faculties to industry. वो अलग बात है, but I think maybe education should also try sending their faculty members to industry for a short internship, so that along with the students, they also understand how industry has changed and how they need to change their teaching style and pedagogy based on, you know, the industry requirements. That's my submission.
Well said, and for somebody from, being somebody from the corporate world, I can tell you industry is more than happy to collaborate with education institutes in all that you mentioned, including faculty internships. Moving on to Praveenji. Do you think that we need to change our skilling models for the non-metro students to make them more employable? And my second question is on how do you think we can get more women into meaningful long-term jobs?
Thank you, ma'am. Namaste sabhi ko, and thank you, Narendra sir, for having me here. I come from rural background and represent the rural Bharat. We are serving more than 5 lakh students with employability skills and business skills. And I was really happy to hear Lakshmi ma'am, right? I'll be happy to have one or two faculty members to have the internship with us at the startups that we run, because that is the most needed thing that I see while visiting the rural part. And starting from the statement that you mentioned, the traditional mindset, right? कई बार मुझे लगता है कि जब मैं गांव में जाता हूँ तो वहाँ की जो एजुकेशन के माइंडसेट है ना, वहाँ गांव के बरगद और पीपल से ज़्यादा पुराने हैं वो. और हमें ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो इंडस्ट्री के रिक्वायरमेंट्स को मैच कर सकें. And being from the corporate industry, being into training and development for more than 10 years, I have seen this very closely, that what is the missing thing. Yes, ma'am, so we are running a program in Ghaziabad by the name of Ghaziabad Entrepreneurship Mission. We screened more than 4,000 students and selected top 100, and where 60% are girl.
Oh,
right?
very.
And my experience so far, visiting all the rural part of India, लड़कियों का जो एक्साइटमेंट है एजुकेशन को लेके, अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ को लेके, दैट इज़ वे बियॉन्ड एंड बेटर विच आई कैन सी इन टर्म्स ऑफ द बॉयज़, राइट. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द आंसर, it's not about the employment, it's about the employability, right? The basic challenge in the rural part of India is कि अगर रेलवे और एसएससी की भर्ती निकलती है तो 1 करोड़ से ऊपर एप्लीकेशंस आती हैं, राइट? महज कुछ हज़ार जॉब्स के लिए. The problem with the youth is कि graduation तक आप आंख बंद करके पढ़ रहे होते हैं, and suddenly you realize you have to go for the government jobs, and after 4-5 years you realize कि 2% का सक्सेस रेट है और आपका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, and तब तक आपकी स्किल्स इतनी पुरानी हो चुकी होती हैं कि आपको प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री एक्सेप्ट नहीं करती है, right? And you don't have the relevant skills when it comes to the job, because आपको सेल्स करने से डर लगता है, आपको इनोवेशन से डर लगता है, you can't take risk. You can't start business because घर में कभी ये बोला ही नहीं गया कि आप बिजनेस से भी पैसा बना सकते हैं. So I'm coming from a background where parents ने बोला कि पैसे पेड़ पर नहीं उगते हैं, but ये भी नहीं बताया कि उगते कहाँ पे हैं. Right.
Well said.
That is the challenge that we are, जो हमें जिस तरह से पाला गया है, right? हमें कभी नहीं बोला गया कि मुझे याद है कि जब पहली बार मैं गांव आ रहा था, माता जी ने खाने का पैकेट पकड़ाते हुए बोला, बेटा किसी दूसरे से मत खाना, तब स्ट्रेंजर से बात मत करना. एंड व्हेन यू कम इनटू कॉर्पोरेट, यू नो हाउ टू बिल्ड अ रिलेशनशिप, हाउ टू बिल्ड योर नेटवर्क. So these are the crucial skills which is important when you really want to build employability in your own mindset. भरत जी जो कह रहे थे वो बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज आज डेट में. आप जेन जी को हायर नहीं करना चाहते बिकॉज उनका एटीट्यूड उनको हायर नहीं करने देता है. They are good at the skills, they are good at the mindset, they are good at, but intention कहाँ से लेके आओगे आप? और corporate आपको intention नहीं सिखा सकता, right? वो हमारा काम नहीं है, right? लक्ष्मी मैम बोल रही थी कि आपकी मेमोरी टेस्ट नहीं करी जाती, आपका एग्जीक्यूशन टेस्ट किया जाता है, right? I'm working with more than 50 universities, colleges, and I can see the faculties there. The biggest irony when we are talking about entrepreneurship 2047 विकसित भारत गोल, इंडिया में करीब 1100 से ज़्यादा इंक्यूबेटर सेंटर्स हैं. द सैड पार्ट इज़ दैट कि उसको हेड करने वाले लोग फैकल्टी के लोग हैं जिन्होंने कभी कोई शॉप तक नहीं चलाई है बिजनेस में. So how can you train business skills by being yourself into the corporate world जहाँ पर आपको 30 तारीख को आपके सैलरी का इंतजार है और आपने कभी कलेक्शन वालों की कॉल रिसीव नहीं करी है, आपका कभी सिविल खराब नहीं हुआ है, आपने कभी डिफॉल्ट्स नहीं किए, आपने कभी किसी से उधार नहीं मांगा, आप बिजनेस नहीं सिखा सकते, राइट? I'm sorry to say it might sound harsh, but this is the strong reality. So when it comes to the industry expectation, when it comes to the employability skill that we want to build in the corporate, the rural youth, we need to be more industry oriented. We really need to help them to learn the real skills, which is implementation with the risk taking, the innovations and entrepreneurial skills, the sales mindset, so that they can start their career. They should know. And one more thing that I want to mention here, कि गांव में रोजगार से पहले रोजगार की सही इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, क्योंकि उन बच्चों को पता भी नहीं है कि उनका करियर कहाँ पे जा रहा है. ग्रेजुएशन तक वो पढ़ लेते हैं, उसके बाद उनको आइडिया नहीं है कि उसके बाद क्या करना है. एंड आई बिलीव द राइट इन्फॉर्मेशन विद द राइट स्किल सेट विद द राइट, बिकॉज मोबाइल सबके हाथ में आ गया है. बिजनौर जैसे शहर में वी हैड वन ओलंपियाड वेयर 60,000 स्टूडेंट्स पार्टिसिपेटेड. सो टेक्नोलॉजी इज़ देयर, इंटरनेट इज़ देयर, मोबाइल फ़ोन इज़ देयर. स्किल्स अगर सही तरीके से पहुंचा दें और सही सही लोगों के थ्रू पहुंचा दें, जैसे लक्ष्मी मैम बोल रही थी, तो आई थिंक हम लोग एक बेहतर यूथ क्रिएट कर सकते हैं जो लाइबिलिटी ना बन के एसेट बन सके कॉर्पोरेट के लिए और पूरी सोसाइटी और कंट्री के लिए. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much. Taking cue from what Praveen ji said about entrepreneurs, my next question is to my physically present panel member, Sanchit ji. How do we support entrepreneurship beyond the metros? Because I don't want to focus on the metros. They have all the visibility, access, everything they have in the metros. But there are a lot of entrepreneurs, and like Praveen ji said, there are a lot of bright minds sitting in the tier 2, tier 3 in rural India. So what is your view on how do we support them to make them more employable? And my second question to you is, how do we move out of this culture in India where we say 24 तक पढ़ो, उसके बाद काम करो? We have to move to a culture of lifelong learning. How do we build that culture? Would love to hear your views.
Okay, before that thing, I would like to answer 2-3 more questions over here as we discuss over here part. Okay, the first thing is when we say the industry gap part, the first part which I believe in the Gen Z is required is the adaptability part, even for us also. So when it comes to, let's say, today we all are talking about AI and AI. When we ask to Gen Z, for them AI is just a game. For us, it's a difficult matter part. That itself says the Viksit Bharat concept also. We ourselves are not adapting to the tech part, and we go to the Gen Z, we say, do you know all these technologies? They say, we do know. But the challenge with us is, even for the Gen Zs, is about the interpersonal skill set, is about how they need to communicate with the senior leaders part. That's the major thing that they are lacking into that part. Coming back to your question, ma'am, to the non-metro cities, I would say one thing with the non-metros part. Of course, there are a lot of talents in the non-metro cities when we go to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Even recently, when I was we have started our ventures also, and we are getting a lot of new entrepreneurial mindset coming from semi-rurals and even in the most rural backward areas also. When they come to us, they said, sir, I have a business ideas, we are working on these technologies, we need to understand how we can apply to the government scheme part. So at that day, I understand one thing, the most important thing that they are lacking in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities is the accessibility and the exposure part.
Absolutely.
Most of the exposures is being into the metro city itself, and the less exposure is coming into the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So the first thing, the foremost thing is required, we as a corporate, we need to go to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Let's say for example, even in the mutual fund industry, lot of investor awareness program is being targeting to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. That means most of the people are started investing over them. Even their ticket size is small, let's say 250 or 500 rupees, but they are started investing in, due to which there are a lot of investors coming into the markets as well. This is a clear-cut examples in terms of the education also. If we go to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we are able to get a lot of good talents also. And your last question with respect to what 24 Gen Zs comes into the part, I will say one thing, ma'am. Earlier, there's a concept called learn and to apply. Today, I would say only single line on that metaphor: learn, apply, unlearn yourself, then reapply, relearn, and then again adapt to all these challenges part. That will I will say. The last part.
Thank you so much. So, given that I have been given 30 minutes, I will stick with that. So, as we conclude, there are three powerful messages from all the discussion that we've had. First, that India's advantage is real, but it is not guaranteed. Skills, adaptability, lifelong learning are the only things that will determine whether this dividend that we have stays as a dividend or becomes a liability for us. Second, preparing our youth for 2047 is a shared responsibility. Government, industry, educators, families, and the youth themselves. All of us have to work together to build pathways to lifelong learning. And third, inclusion is not an option anymore. As we become ready to take on the future, India has to harness the potential of women, of rural youth, and the first generation entrepreneurs that we have. The journey to 2047 will only depend on what we implement today. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists, and can I request all of you to stay online? Because when we take the photo, I don't want only the two of us here. I'd like all the online panelists also to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati, for curating that conversation. And as she requested, we can see all the three panelists with their broad smiles. Bharat, I'm seeing you once again online this time. It's great to see you like this. And of course, Praveen and Lakshmi, thank you so much. May I request the current panelist is just getting a token from Dr. Narendra. We wish we could have done the same with you, but it's not possible on the screen platform. But we're just going to be requesting all our audience members that once we have all of them in one frame, but let's give them a big, big round of applause, please. Dr. Narendra has said that Bharat, Praveen and Lakshmi, you're going to be getting these delivered to your homes or offices.
I'm going to be there in the evening, so I will meet.
Perfect, Lakshmi. We look forward to meeting you in person today. And Bharat and Praveen, some other event and some other opportunity. But can I request all of them to come together? Yes, the pictures rightly clicked. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank